Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, Republican, tweeted this. I'm criminally referring Jerome Powell to the Department of Justice to investigate perjury regarding his $2.5 billion building. Um, uh, Put up a number 10. So the president, as we all know, has been flirting publicly and privately with firing the chair of the Fed. And some of his economic advisors think it's a bad idea, that the markets would hate it. And they say he'd challenge it in court and he'd stay, and the courts would probably let him stay in the job during, and it would be a mess. Now, Politico is reporting that his lawyers are saying also, bad idea. It's uncertain whether Trump firing Powell solely based on accusations he mismanaged a multi-year renovation project. Here is one of the most powerful people in the government. I'm not saying he's powerful as Stephen Miller, but the head of the OMB, Mr. Russ Vought, very powerful. Here he is on Fox talking about this renovation project, number 11.
We are looking at it, as you know, Larry. Last week, at the president's request, I sent a letter to Chairman Powell to look at the overruns for this new renovation. And it's obviously $700 million and includes all sorts of things like rooftop terraces. And there's issues involved with regard to the comments that the chairman made to the Financial Services Committee that are inconsistent with the plans that were submitted to the National Capital Planning Commission. And so we are working in conjunction with the president's new appointees there. We intend to do a site visit, hopefully next week, and we want the answers to our questions addressed. And so we're at the beginning of that process, but we are taking it very seriously. As you know, Larry, the president's a builder. He finds it exasperating the extent to which this building is so expensive and the extent to which it is cost overrun. And we're going to look for as much of the information as we possibly get our hands on.
Brian, I understand people's interest in the Epstein story for a variety of reasons. This Fed story is so interesting to me, and it's a different kind of story. But I'd love your historical perspective because you're a grizzly and grizzled veteran. Can you think of a situation where a president started this thing about the renovation to try to force the hand of an independent agency head? I just don't remember anything quite like this.
Well, I think it's more of the, trying to be able to build a case for the president to be able to fire him, to be able to signal that he is, he's reckless and, he's doing these things that are clearly outside the realm of his job and what he should be doing. To create a little bit of, reputational disaster for him. I think that the president, I think he said it yesterday, if I'm correct, that he had no intention of firing Powell. He did say that. I believe him. I think he's heard from Wall Street. He's heard from the markets. He's heard exactly what it will do with regard to the equity markets. And he really does pay attention to that. So I think he's heard from them. I really don't think you're going to get a lot more from it. But I think Republicans in Congress are still going to throw a lot of grenades at Powell, particularly I wouldn't be surprised if they have him shortly. As Bednar said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't introduce him to a few committees to be able to testify in front of and in regards to a lot of things that are being questioned right now.
Mark, it's been reported, and it's not a secret because some of them are on the record, that a lot of Republican members, including senators who confirm the Fed chair, feel strongly that they shouldn't be trying to fire the head of the Fed, that the independent, and this thing is not worthy of it. Do you think that there would be a crisis if the president went forward with members of the Congress, or as usual, they would just roll over for the president?
Well, I think back up a couple steps here. What's interesting to me is like for members of Congress to automatically make a criminal referral. If anything, Republicans, they have the subpoena power. They have they have the gavels. So if you feel that malfeasance has occurred, work with your committees and like take your Article 1 power back and do your investigatory oversight there. And then if you need to build a case, like take credit for building a case and uncovering malfeasance. But if not, and then now we're in kind of the space where you're asking the president to do something or not. I mean, it's pretty clear to me that Powell is a pretty good, like, Trump likes to see him as a punching bag. And so if you remove the bad guy, what happens next? I think the president is keenly aware of that. And, I don't, like, bond markets aside, I just think, like, he likes Powell as a villain.
Yeah.
And to keep him around.
Yeah.
Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss a clip, and you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.